I started already. Pe- pe- uh, Peace to the family. Well, let me see. Get everybody up in here. Make sure we got everybody up in here, up in the room. I know I ain't been live in a minute, but there's been a lot of things going on that I wanted to come on and talk about. Give me 1 second. I wanted to come on and talk about, and I wanted to give some people enough time to get up here in the room because we need to discuss. We actually need to get on here and discuss some business, man. There's a lot of things going on out there that I haven't got a chance to really come and talk to the people about, right? I didn't really come and talk to the people about basically like engaging with you guys on a live stream. I haven't went live in a while. I've been just uploading, uploading videos, but we're in a time right now where there's a lot of things going on that I feel the need to actually have to discuss with the people, right? So I want to wait a couple minutes. I want to get enough people up in the room, but as people start coming in, I really want to discuss this thing about FBA business, right? And what FBA business is. And I also want to discuss this YN situation, this thing now where we have FBAs going around calling our own children YNs, and we think it's cool. We think it's decent. We think it's smart, and it's not. I also want to talk about the radical right and the radical left, right? And how they set traps to get us caught up in certain things. And I'm glad that we got the grassroots. So I'm live today. I'm live today in my bishop mode because I feel like I got a word for the people, and we gotta tighten up. We got to tighten up on many different levels. There's been different arguments going back and forth, right? And the Black community, it seems like everybody uses the foundational Black American community to push their narratives, right? Everybody uses us to push their narratives. I'm seeing like a lot of these Africans do it. A lot of these immigrants do it. We're seeing the radical right conservatives do it. We're seeing the radical, because there is a radical left. Let's not get this twisted, right? And I'm going to display that today. There's a radical right conservative, but there's also a radical left. And when you're in the Black community and you deal with the Democratic Party and you say anything against the Democrats, you say anything that's not supportive or in support of them, you see the radical left come out and begin to attack you. Right? So you have a radical right, you have a radical left, right? Then you have FBA, Foundational Black Americans. That's observant, grassroots, and constantly educating ourselves in the tactics that these Republicans and Democrats and all these other groups use in order to keep the grassroots Black Americans in the position of ignorance. And we have to start waking up and understanding the psychological effects that it's having on us and the psychological games that they play on us. Now, I'm live today because I'm upset. I don't like the fact that I'm online all over the place. And while they're using AI programs to depict Dr. King in a certain way, a lot of our Black leaders in a negative light, I'm looking all online and I'm seeing Black folks call young Black boys YNs. So I did a TikTok video. I went on other people's live streams saying stop this, and I got pushback from my own people. Now I know that we are traumatized as a people. We've been through a lot of things. We've seen a lot of things. We experienced a lot of things, right? right? I'm gonna take the camera off, but I'm gonna keep talking for a minute. That's me knocking out Incredible Hulk, right? When you see this image here of me knocking out Incredible Hulk, that's not Incredible Hulk. That's the metaphor for me knocking out the system. That's me knocking out W supremacy. You see Wonder Woman in the back with her hand on her head, because when we was young, all the superheroes is white. And I'm going somewhere with this. All the superheroes is white. Anything associated with greatness was white. When they gave us a story, they gave us Dr. King and Malcolm X, but they got killed at the end of the story. They socially engineered us as a child, from a child with an undeveloped brain, to see them as first, to see them as the apex of knowledge, the so-called forefathers that they said was your forefathers, right? They never told you about who your people was, who you were. They never showed you the Black Kings and told us our true story, right? So now, when they come to us now and they tell us anything, we believe it, right? So now you have black foundational Black Americans calling their kids YNs, right? Now, am I speaking about all of them? No. Right now, when I'm speaking about FBA, us, I ain't talking about immigrants. I ain't talking about the W man. I'm talking about us all on social media referring to young Black boys as YNs, right? Now, let me take the camera off, the camera back. Now, I'm going to show y'all, matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all one more real quick. I'm going to show y'all one more. Why I do this, right? That's me right there slaying Superman, right? But when I'm slaying them, I'm slaying W supremacy. I'm slaying the W supremacy in my mind. I'm restoring my mind. Because, see, FBA is not just physical reparations, paper reparations, tangible reparations. FBA is mental, too. Taking back your mind that was stolen from you. To understand why you need reparations in the first place, to understand the tactics to properly use when you're on the battlefield in the first place. So before we can even get to a reparation argument, I gotta first kill the nigga in your mind. I gotta first kill the nigga. So the first thing I did was I went and slayed Superman. I had to go slay W supremacy. I had to get him up out of there. So that way I can come back and properly teach our people. Now, George, why are you saying all this? What are you going to share today? Why are you live, George? What are you here to talk to the people about? Well, the reason why we got to stop you calling our kids YNs, because you're referring to your kids in today's time as young niggas. Young niggas, right? Where we have a president and a regime that's in place and Black radical conservatives in place that's using the Black community as cannon fire to bolster their identities and their images and their careers. And they're only pointing to Black on Black crime, Black violence, Chicago, Memphis, Philadelphia, and they're painting this narrative in the Black community about how young Black boys are. Now, watch this. In the city of Philadelphia, where they say on census 1.6, 1.7 million, but it's well over that. It's over 2 million people here in the city of Philadelphia, right? In 2021, 22, we had over 600 and some homicides. But that same year, we graduated over 13,000 Black boys and girls from high school and college all throughout the city of Philadelphia. Not one video did Black radical conservatives post these videos. In a Black city, a major Black city, a city like Philadelphia that has one of the largest Black populations in America. Not one time did they post it. You know what they posted? They posted that Philadelphia for the last 15 years has always led the nation in homicides by population over 1 million. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back that's slow. They posted that Philadelphia for the last 15 years always leads the nation in homicides for populations over 1 million per 100,000. Philadelphia, higher than Chicago, higher than all those places for cities with over 1 million in population. So if you're not over 1 million, I'm not talking about those cities. I'm talking about cities over 1 million in population. right? That's what they post. They don't show the graduates. Now, if there's like 700,000 to 900,000 black people in Philadelphia, and you had 600 homicides, right? What is the percentage times that? It's like 3 to 2%. But you have 12,000 people that graduated from school. How come they never show those percentages? How come they never show the hardworking black people in the city of Philadelphia? Right? Now, why are you mentioning this, George? I'm mentioning this because in Philadelphia, Dallas, Houston, Chicago, Baltimore, you have a whole lot of black people doing a whole lot of positive stuff, a whole lot of good things, right? Hold on for a second. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Chaos, what's up, Chaos? You have a whole lot of black people doing a whole lot of positive things. And when you go around this country, and I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, even those out there that don't like me, I don't care if you don't like me, listen to what I'm saying right now, because what I'm about to say is important. Father, let my words be your words. Let my ways be your ways. Let my thoughts be your thoughts. Speak through me and allow me to speak to the people, that my words be wisdom and nourishment to their bellies, that they be able to decipher what I'm saying and grow from what I'm saying. I ask all this in your name, the Most High. So I want to say this. Right? When you go around and you calling black boys YNs and all this, you're giving these people, you're giving these people that don't like us carte blanche to keep pushing their narrative about us, because they're saying, look at what they call their own kids. So now you watching me right now. If your son or daughter ever have to go in front of a judge or have to go in for a job, these people already got a preconceived notion about us. Our skin is still our sin in this country. Don't let nobody tell you no different. Other groups that come here, because you have a lot of immigrants that come here, and some of them going to be our employers. They already have a preconceived notion about foundational black Americans, right? So now, when your son or daughter goes for a job, or they have to go in front of a judge, all they see is a YN, because you are reinforcing the stereotypes on your black boys. Do we have challenges in our community? Absolutely, we have challenges in our community. We all know we have challenges. But when you refer to your own children as YNs, you allow them to keep pushing that same narrative. We have challenges in our communities based off a lot of different things that's been enforced and reinforced, or stereotypes on us. I'm pleading for our people. Please stop, especially you grown-ups, stop referring to black boys as YNs. Stop. When you do that, a lot of these radical black conservatives, they take that and run with it. They take that and spin with it. How can we be FBA, but you want here calling black boys YNs? Y'all remember when I did the series Death to the Real Nigga? I wasn't talking about unaliving nobody. I was talking about killing that nigga in your mind. Because before I could even give you words of nourishment that your body can break down and sustain, I gotta get the nigga out you. How can you even understand what an FBA is? Because foundational black Americans is not just a lineage, it's a lifestyle. It's an ideology, it's a thought process. It's not about hating immigrants. I don't hate immigrants. I don't even partake in that stuff, online battle with immigrants. I'm on FBA business. I'm trying to get stop us from being gentrified out of our communities, understanding how we're supposed to move politically, understanding who we are. But when I'm online every day, every other video I see is YN this and YN that and YN this and YN that. And I see it coming from my own people. From my own people. It's coming from our own people. I'm seeing our own people do this. So now when this happens, with Trump being the president, with all these conservative judges and the federal court system on the state, sitting on the state benches, right? All of these conservative senators and congressmen in the House, and they have now, mind you, their whole thing is being tough on crime is dedicated towards black people. It's pushed towards black people. When Trump said he got to bring in the troops, he want to send them into Chicago. He want to send them into Memphis. He want to send them into Washington, D.C. And when they say being tough on crime, the tough on crime part is being issued towards us. Now I want to show y'all something, right? Let me see. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you. Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. I want y'all to see this, right? Because I want to bring out receipts so I can really demonstrate my point, so that way you guys can understand why we're doing this exercise, right? Hold on. Let me share my screen real quick, because I want you to see how they play games with you, right? Now, when Charlie Kirk was alive, Charlie Kirk was talking about the Civil Rights Bill 64, right? And disparate impact and the impacts that it had on certain things, right? Oh, hold on one second. Yeah. All right, Charlie Kirk, he was talking about disparate impact and the impact that it has on certain things. Now, I want y'all to hear this, right? Let me turn this up, because I'm gonna go somewhere with this.
Seriously, anti-Civil Rights Act.
There's parts of it that were good. I'll give you an example. Merrick Garland recently said that states cannot have voter ID because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So that's insane. Now, for example, if you go to a Walgreens and someone says blacks shall not come in, that should obviously be illegal. But if it says that, hey, at Walgreens, black customers are stopped more for shoplifting than white customers, then they have come into stores, by the way, and big settlements have been paid because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though it turns out that the black shoplifters were actually shoplifting more on average than white shoplifters. So disparate impact is very, very dangerous.
Okay.
And that's where the Civil Rights Act allowed us to go.
You're notoriously anti.
Now, I'm gonna play it again because I want y'all to listen. And I'm doing the demonstration to show you how they play mind games with us and get black people to believe this stuff, because you're traumatized by the so-called black on black violence. So the so-called black on black violence that they perpetuate to you every day, it makes you start to hate your own people and run over there to them for refuge, as if they're not the culprits behind a lot of things that go on, right? I want y'all to pay attention, right? You don't think about white on white violence or Asian, you only think about black on black violence, right? And so now, because you're traumatized by your own people, when people like this use these talking points, you don't even realize they playing you. Let's listen to it again.
Anti-Civil Rights Act.
There's parts of it that were good. I'll give you an example. Merrick Garland recently said that states cannot have voter ID because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So that's insane. Now, for example, if you go to a Walgreens and someone says blacks shall not come in, that should obviously be illegal. But if it says that, hey, at Walgreens, black customers are stopped more for shoplifting than white customers, then they have come into stores, by the way, and big settlements have been paid because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though it turns out that the black shoplifters were actually shoplifting more on average than white shoplifters. So disparate impact is very, very dangerous.
Now he's going by percentages where he's saying that black people have been shoplifting on average more than whites, right? Now, disparate impact is a legal concept under the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that prohibits employment practices that are facially neutral, but disproportionately harm a protected group, even without proof of intentional discrimination, right? So we already know when you see this disparate impact was set in place to protect us, because we already knew our skin was our sin. The statistics was going to always be higher because they already got a preconceived notion about you because you're black, right? There's always going to be a higher statistic under the system of W supremacy. So we knew this. So we made sure that disparate impact would be put in. They want disparate impact taken out so they can say we can judge everything on its merit. But how can you judge now? This is taught when you tied into the YNs. How can you judge everything on its merit when you already have a group of people that have a preconceived notion about you that never changed from the way that they view you? And today they're using the same rhetoric that they used in the 60s on you to justify why they do what they do and why they pushing these laws back. Now watch this. Let's ask ChatGPT something. Watch this. Because I want y'all to understand why you got to stop calling your kids YNs, man. Because you're playing into W supremacy. You're surrendering to it. Shaniqua, you there, Shaniqua?
I'm right here. What's up?
All right, Shaniqua, I want you to tell me what was the purpose of disparate impact for the 1964 Civil Rights Act?
Absolutely. So the idea behind including the concept of disparate impact in the 1964 Civil Rights Act was basically to make sure that discrimination wasn't just judged by whether someone intended to discriminate. Instead, it also looked at whether a policy or practice ended up having a discriminatory effect on a protected group, even if that wasn't the original intention. It was kind of a way to make sure that the law had teeth in stopping discrimination that might be more subtle or systemic. Let me know if that helps.
Thank you, Shaniqua.
You're always welcome. If you need any more details or something else for your class, just let me know.
Yeah, I had to ask Shaniqua. But what I'm saying is disparate impact was something that was used to protect us from from these preconceived notions that they actually exercise on our people, right? We had to make sure that we had protections and provisions in place, even though it's still not being enforced. So when you go around and you calling black boys YNs, you're actually siding with Charlie Kirk and all the ways the other people think, because Charlie Kirk was saying, yeah, those YNs is the ones stealing stuff. Those YNs is the ones statistically makes our statistics. Yes, those YNs. We got to get rid of your children. We got to replace them with this and replace them with that. Yes. So we was right. You guys are not capable of doing anything without us. You guys are not intelligent enough. Your IQs are too low to actually take care of your own children. So we have to step in. Because the children that you've been giving birth to, you yourself calling them YNs now. You don't even want to be associated with them. So what I'm saying is, I'm asking you guys to stop calling black boys YNs, right? Right? That's the let me share before I go to my let me share real quick before I get into my other part of what I want to talk about today, because I want to just talk about that first, the first 20 minutes. I want y'all to spread that around. Stop reinforcing W supremacy stereotypes on your own children. Stop it. I know we traumatized. I know when you live in places like Philadelphia and St. Louis and Chicago, I know it. Listen, loving your people can be painful sometimes, because our people is stiff-necked, man. They hard, man. They hard to get through to, right? But remember, we're behaving the way we were designed to behave under a system where black dysfunction is profitable for other groups. Understand that. Understand that. So this is all by design. It's by design so much that they got you guys out there. I'm talking to my foundational black Americans, because foundational black Americans is a lineage and not everybody think the same. You got grassroots foundational black Americans. Watch this. I'm going to say something that sting a little bit. You got foundational black Americans that's grassroots. And then you got foundational black Americans that's like our parents and grandparents. They believe everything the Democratic Party say. Everything the Democratic Party say. They go to church every Sunday and fall out and pray to Jesus. As soon as that W man came and said, get the sticking, they went over there and got in line and got the needles and had the audacity to tell you, if you ain't go get that needle, you can't come in my house. Those was our FBA family. That was our FBA family saying that about to us family. Somebody tell me I'm wrong, right? So you have a collection of young grassroots that's rebelling, that's saying, We ain't doing that no more. I'm talking to FBA. We not doing that no more. But watch this, y'all, because now again, it's going to get tight. I'm seeing a lot of people online saying, with all the stuff that's going on in this country right now, from the economics to SNAP benefits being cut, troops walking through the streets of America, racist rhetoric. I'm hearing people online saying, well, this is what you voted for. I'm about to say something that y'all might hate me for. Not my grassroots family, because you're going to get it. But a lot of you out there ain't going to like what I'm about to say. They got black people in America caught up in the fight between the radical right and the radical left. Well, there's a big fight going on. People are being pow and unalived. They're fighting for political supremacy on who's going to control the Senate, the House, and dictate how policies are being governed here, right? Where we know, to black people, the Democratic Party and Republican Party has been a colossal failure in the black community. A colossal failure. It served a horrible purpose. The Republicans act like that they were on our side at times in order to boost their numbers up in the early 1900s as we started coming into the right to vote and all these different things, fighting for certain things for us while the Democrats was against us, right? And then it switched around and we started following the Democrats after the civil rights, hold on a second. Why is this doing this? Then things switched around, right? After the Barry Goldwater incident in the 60s, right? And we start really pushing for the Democrats real hard, right? And the Democrats, I'm going to give y'all a street analogy. The Democrats is like, I come from the street, so I'm going to give you, those of y'all that's out there that's from the street, I'll give you a street analogy. The Democrats is like the dudes, the people that come on the block and say, yo, hey, I see what y'all going through, man. Hey, I know, listen, y'all messed up, right? I'm going to front you some work. I'm going to give you like 10 of them things, man. Don't even worry about that little money you got. This is the Democrats. I'm going to front you 10 of them things. Man, you can have the girls, the money, the cars, the hoes. You can have all, man, do what you, man, just have fun, man. We don't even worry about nothing politically. We got you. When we need you to vote, just come out and vote and rock with us. Man, we're going to give you welfare. We're going to give you housing. We're going to get whatever you want. Don't worry about no plan of action, nothing. We got you. I know them big black Republicans, they racist. Don't worry about them. So they front you all the work, right? So you having a ball, man. You going to Vegas, Cancun Memorial Day weekend. You got all kinds of women, right? All kinds of you getting twerking, you're getting your BBLs, you're living it up. But when you get back to your crib, you find out somebody robbed you. So now you got to go back to the Democratic Party with your hands in your pocket and say, yo, I got robbed, right? Democratic Party say, don't worry about it. You work for me, man. I got you, right? You beholden to me, right? You on my side, right? You on my side. You with us, right? Cool. Republicans come out, man, don't get them niggas nothing. They ain't got enough money, man. Listen, we ain't getting you nothing, right? You gonna work on our plan the way we tell you. We gonna push it this way, right? You get no cars, you get no O's, you get nothing, right? You do it the way we say it. Good cop, bad cop, right? So now, if you go against the Democratic Party, you looked at as a traitor. You looked at as the bad guy because you voted for those guys. Now listen, watch the psychological thing. As if the only racists in this country is Republicans. Democrats ain't racist because they're your friends. They give you welfare. They allow you to have money to get BBLs. They keep the economy a certain way where you can live a certain way. The Republicans come in and change it. And now you caught up in a political gang war as if either one of these groups are on your side, where under the Democrats, you're being gentrified out of your communities. They bringing in all these immigrants. While they was allowing you to party, shoot up each other, travel, give you welfare for 150 years, right? Give you free housing, allow you to have a bunch of babies, right? Allow you to have all these different benefits and everything and don't work. And I'm not talking about the black folks that work every day. I'm not talking about that. I'm from the hood. I'm talking about what go on in our communities where we've been living off this Democratic plantation for so long that we don't have a plan of action to fix our own stuff. These policies that were set in place by Democrats was never set in place for you to be able to do for self and fix your own community. It was based off of you work for us. Don't worry about thinking for yourself. We got you. Don't you have no thoughts. You just go to them polls and vote Democrat because we told you so. That's what it was set in place for. So now, when you start coming out and saying, wait a minute, why are you bringing in all these immigrants through your policies and putting them in our communities? How you got all this money set aside for immigrants and not the people that's been living there? You mean to tell me you fixing these dilapidated buildings and you're putting these immigrants in those buildings and not us? We've been loyal to you for 60 years. But you took the work they fronted you. They fronted you some work, man. They gave you welfare for 25 years. Now they need yourself for the prison industrial system. They made sure it was no daddy there. Man, we've been giving you welfare for 25 years. You better give us your sons. Your sons belong to us. Them little boys you call YNs, they belong to the state. They playing us. They've been playing us. We know that the Republicans wasn't for us, right? And then what they do, they turn around, right? After they gave you Obama, tricked you with Obama. Let me sit up for this one, because a lot of black women ain't gonna like me. But I love black women, so I gotta. Hey, babe, where you at? I want my wife to come in on this. Can you come down for a minute? I'm gonna turn the camera off, but I want my wife to hear it. I got the camera off. They can't see. They can't see. I got the camera off. Go ahead. Now, this is the thing, right? I'm gonna show you how the Democrats play this, how they play us, how they play games with us, right? Mental, I want y'all to listen because my wife is going to chime in on this, right? They gave us Obama, and we was all cheering and happy because we said we had a black president, but he wasn't FBA. He wasn't from the soil. He didn't represent us, our people, right? Now I'm not here to write down the crap on Obama. That's not my message. That's not. I'm in my bishop mood. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to educate foundational black Americans on strategy and how to move, right? So they duped us into that, and we was all hyped. We was all hyped because we felt like we had a black president, a representation. Then they turned around and gave us a Kamala Harris. And I want y'all to understand something, that the games that they play psychologically, the mental games that they play with us, right? The mental games, hold on, let me see. They can't see you. Hold on. Yeah, no, they can only hear you. But I'll leave the camera off. Yeah. I'm going to say this, right? The mental games that they play. They gave you Kamala Harris, right? And a lot of our sisters jumped on it because it was a woman of color. And they was 10 toes down. We got a woman. This is going to be for all women around the world. We finally arrived in the women. But they play witchcraft and sorcery on your minds and head. They was playing you. Let me tell you something. Bishop George is, I'm not so much of a chauvinist where I don't believe that a woman can't lead. 25 years ago, I thought like that. I don't think like that today. I believe that a woman could lead. And I would vote for a woman for a president if she was a candidate that was foundational black American, that represent the soil, whose ancestors come from Selma, come from Jackson, Mississippi, come from Virginia, that come from these places that we come from, right? But Kamala was not a foundational black American, and she had a white husband. So let me ask y'all something. How can we talk about, as FBA, talk about grassroots and talk about how the racist system is set in place, but we go vote for a woman who didn't even love a black man enough to marry to represent the black family, what they've been trying to destroy forever, right? But they get away with it because they masked it with girl power, 2030 agenda, and putting a woman there where a lot of women overlook the fact that she had a W husband. She wasn't foundational Black American. You only saw a woman. They was using witchcraft and playing you. Now, my wife said something earlier when we were talking in the kitchen about how they can get our sisters for that to happen. Babe, explain to them. Let me move it. Explain to them how they was able to do that.
What we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So I think that that people don't understand the what's the word I'm looking for? When you're married to somebody, that's not just your partner. That's somebody that you are in union with. When two get married, two become one. And I don't know about anybody else, but in my marriage, my husband and I are very intentional about the seriousness that marriage comes with, the responsibility, and he has a very, very extremely large influence over some of
Her views.
No, I'm talking about you and I.
Yeah. Okay.
Bishop George has a great influence on the way I view things, the way I move, the way I talk, the way I walk, and likewise, because two becomes one. So it's hard for me to understand that, like he said earlier, they placed Kamala in front of us with her white husband. What's his agenda? What's his agenda? And how does his agenda help the Black community?
Right. And that's important because when we start voting for these people and we see them come out with a W husband, but then we turn around and we scream racism and W supremacy, how do we expect other groups to take us serious, right? Right, that's all I need. Okay. Yeah. How do we expect these other groups to take us serious when we move in that way, right? And we just go along with it. But then we'll go and vote for Kamala because we hate Trump so much, right? And turn around and say, well, you got to vote for the lesser to two evils. No, you don't. You got to have your own agenda as to how you're moving. Right. There you go, by any means necessary. What's going on, King Sir? God, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time, hey, man. I ain't been live in so long, really, really engage with the people in so long, man. Y'all got to get your Urban Nerd shirts, man. Man, you see how I came on his way to school, man. We don't do the YNs, man. We don't do the YNs. But hold on, let me see. More people coming in because I want us to get about being about. Oh shit! I pressed the wrong freaking button. Hold on, let me X this out. I pressed the wrong shit. Let me see something real quick. See if I got this over here. I want to show y'all this too while we live. If I still got it, I hope I still got it on here. I hope I didn't erase it. Give me 1 second. I got it. Why is this thing don't leave? All right, check this out, right? When y'all remember when I was doing this? Y'all remember when I was doing this? Let me see. Dang, can I show it in the screen? How do I make it bigger? Oh, wait a minute. I messed up. Hold on. Let me see if I can, I want y'all to see this. If I can show it here on the screen, if it allow me to show it real quick before we get back to the show. And y'all see that, right? We going around calling ourselves YNs, young niggas. I'm going around saying nerds over niggas. I've been saying this. I've been promoting this, right? I've been telling our people, stop calling our children YNs. This is what I've been promoting this for years, right? Online. I stopped doing live streams some time ago, but this is stuff I've been having a series, Death to the Real N-Word. Y'all running around calling black boys YNs. We going backwards. We've been doing this for years, teaching that everybody champion, yeah, then we going backwards. We're supposed to be saying intelligence over N-words. We run around calling them YNs. And all these so-called conservatives is taking all our talking points and running with it, right? And running with it. So I want to transition now. I want to transition now for my next 30 minutes that I'm gonna be live. I want to transition now to the radical right and radical left, and why we gotta stay away. Yeah, y'all can get y'all shirts, man. Y'all gotta go onto the website, man, and get your nerds over niggas shirt, man. We ain't promoting YNs. We promoting Hakeem, man. Urban nerds, black intelligence. We not promoting YNs, YN culture. How we promoting FBA and we running around calling black boys YNs? And I mean, it just don't make sense. Let me see. Let's get off into this now. Let's see. Let's move this out the way. All this stuff out the way. All right. Let me share my screen real quick again. I want y'all, let's get off into this real quick. Now y'all remember this man right here, right? And the reason why I tell you guys y'all got to get away from being part of the radical left and the radical right, because there's a lot of stuff going on that ain't got nothing to do with us. While they promoting black on black crime and a lot of these black conservatives is pushing that narrative, they ain't really talking about the stuff that's really going on between the politics, right? So y'all remember this man, Vance Bolter, right? Right, the suspect in the shooting of 2 Minnesota lawmakers had a hit list of 45 officials, right? So he had a hit list, right? So let's go down and let's look at what he did. Right? Hold on, what the hell? Right? Check this out, right? Bolter has been charged with state and federal charges of murder, attempted murder, and other crimes. He's been held in federal custody. Burley said at a Sunday night press conference that officers have been searching the area of Bolter's property near the town of Green Isle, where one thought they saw him running in the woods. Now, I'm gonna watch what he did, right? Because some of y'all might remember this, some of y'all might not, right? After about an hour and a half, with the help of multiple SWAT teams and state patrol helicopters, authority closed in on him and were able to call him out to us, right? So this is what he did, right? This is what he did. Bolter was the subject of a days-long manhunt involving hundreds of local, state, and federal law enforcement after the shocking deaths of Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, right? Officials say the couples were shot and killed in their Brooklyn Park, Minnesota home by a man impersonating a police officer, right? This is your battles between the radical right and radical left, right? That they're not talking about, but it's happening in front of your face, right? Earlier that morning, Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot at their home in nearby Chaplin, Minnesota. And a statement shared with Minnesota Senator Amy Kober on Sunday night, Yvette said, John is enduring many surgeries right now and is closer every hour to being out of the woods. He took 9 bullets, she wrote. I took 8, and we're both incredibly lucky to be alive, right? So this is your radical right, upset with the radical left, right? Man, so then we come over here, right? Man who set fire to Pennsylvania's governor's mansion sentenced. Now watch this, right? How come you never hear the radical black conservatives call this out? All they talk about is us, 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 all the time. Right? The man accused of setting Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence on fire in April was sentenced to 25 to 50 years in state prison as part of a plea deal. Cody Balmer, 38, pleaded guilty to attempted murder, aggravated arsons, 22 counts of arson, burglary, and other offenses at a court hearing on Tuesday. While the official residence in the state capital of Harrisburg was severely damaged during the fire, people home at the time, including Shapiro, his wife, 4 children, and guest members and staff, were able to escape unscathed. Shapiro and his family were supportive of the plea deal announced by prosecutors. The attack on the U.S. governor and his family is part of a wave of political violence. Hold on, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. A wave of. Wait a minute. The attack against the governor and his family was part of a wave of political violence in the U.S., including the attempted kidnapping of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, 2 assassinations attempt on President Trump, and the killings of the Minnesota officials and the killing of Charlie Kirk. Now there's some political banging going on, and you got black people stupid enough to sit here and be on one side or the other instead of being in the middle, eating their popcorn like the grassroots, saying, I'm not part of none of that, because you're playing games on us. How does me supporting any one of these radical groups, see, because they paint the narrative that it's just a radical right. No, there's a radical left as well, and they're hardcore. You go against their talking points, if you against LGBT, if you against women's rights, if you against, or you have your own opinion towards certain things, man, they will destroy you. Y'all better not get it twisted with the radical left. They ain't playing in the media, and they control a lot of the media. They will come for you. If you're anti-small hat or any of that stuff, stop thinking that it's not a radical left. At a press conference on Tuesday, the Pennsylvania governor, standing alongside his wife, said that he had to lean on his faith. Again, here you go. They leaned on the faith. So this was the house, right, where some gangster stuff was going down. This ain't Crips and Bloods. This is political fighting for political supremacy. I don't like your views on certain things, so I'm going to come take you out. I don't like your views. This is political gangbanging at its finest. But they're not. How come this is not being talked about in the media? Right? Let's hold on. Let's go over here, right? Let's see if we can pull up what Cody looked like. Hold on, where's his image at? Hold on, y'all. Let me get his image real fast. Let's pull up his image. Why they hold on? Give me 1 second. Let's pull up. Here we go. You see that? Now y'all seen the first guy, Vance Bolter, was a W man, right? Then we get over here to Cody Balmer. He's a W man. These ain't black people. These ain't black people. Right? This dude came in and torched the governor's house. Damn. You talking about some gangster stuff? Damn. Man, here we go. Let's move over. More W, guys. These two gangsters right here, these two hoodlums, these two real ends. That's what. Hey, listen, real quick. In the chat, right? In the chat, people watching. Let's guess. I want y'all to tell me what you think these two guys did. I'm not going to say nothing else until y'all. I want y'all to tell me what you think these two guys did. Go, y'all, go. I need to see in the chat. In the chat, I need somebody to tell me. I need 3 people. I need to see 3 people tell me what you think these two guys did. I'm waiting for some comments. We got 55 people in here. Did they kill somebody? They ain't kill nobody, but they was close. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come on. They ain't kill nobody, but they was damn sure close. Let me see. They crashed out. Yeah, they crashed out. I need one more person. Tell me what you think these gangsters did. Something to do with kids? No. All right, let's get to what they did. Court affirms convictions of 2 key people in a plot to kidnap Michigan's governor. Who the blinkety blank 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 tries to kidnap the damn governor? Come on, man. Listen. I need y'all to really understand what I'm saying. Show me the YNs, the big booty Keishas and the out of control black folks, you all my black conservatives. Show me the black people that try to kidnap the governor. They try to kidnap the governor. Listen, it's political banging going on, and they not talking about it. All they talking about is black on black crime, Chicago, black folks this, black folks that. These 2 gangsters right here, I'm scared to death of them. Listen, if these 2 dudes will try to kidnap the governor, imagine what they do to me and you. Y'all think I'm playing. Y'all think it's a game. If these 2 guys, these 2 men here, would kidnap the governor, what you think they'll do to Bishop George? The appeals court, so this was April 1st, 2025. The appeals court on Tuesday affirmed the convictions of 2 men who were accused of leading a plot to kidnap Michigan's governor in 2020 and start a civil war. These guys are they claim they're anti-government, but they want to start a civil war, right? Lawyers for Adam Fox and Barry Croft Jr. Let's look up. I ain't messing with no Adam Fox and Barry Croft. These dudes try to kidnap the governor. Listen, when Boo shoot Frog in the hood on the south side, or they kidnap somebody, they ain't going to kidnap no governors, or no mayors, or no senators, no congressmen, none of that. No, these 2 gangsters right here. You talk about now let me ask y'all, who more dangerous? Pop Shot from the South Side Crips, or these 2 dudes trying to kidnap the goddamn governor? They're not gonna talk about this though. Pop Shot don't even come out his hood. He stay in the hood. Lil Let Loose from the east side, Lil Let Loose, man. See, some of y'all out there with a small brain say Lil Let Loose is more dangerous, but he not. Pop Shot ain't more dangerous, right? Right? Switchblade, I'm just thinking of crazy names because these guys are connected to underground organizations, and they're well funded to do what they do. They part of underground organizations that when they get caught, they keep their mouth shut. And it's pipelines that's been set in place that's been in this country for a long time. Militia groups, they are dangerous to the point where they have so much power that some of them even have politicians and people working for them, that they can have the power to sway the media. This ain't just 2 ragtag idiots just doing something. No. This has political implications. Lil Let Loose from the South Side ain't got nothing on these people. Y'all think it's a game. Hold on. Damn right, it'd have been coverage. Lawyers for Adam Fox and Barry Karp Jr. have argued that their right to pursue a vigorous entrapment defense was greatly diminished by the rulings of a trial judge in Western Michigan, amongst others claims. The court, however, said any errors by the judge were harmless. The jury saw and heard a host of video and audio recordings of defendants promising violence, planning, and participating in trainings of bringing their own weapons and material and plotting the abduction without reluctance. The 6th District U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said in a 3-0 opinion, the arrest of Fox and Cross and other anti-government extremists rocked the home stretch of the 2020 presidential election. Authorities said the cabal wanted to grab Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer at a vacation home and start a civil war. Fox 41, Croft 49 were portrayed as the leaders. No, they're not. No, they're not. Y'all believe that if you want to. Listen, but it gets even crazier, right? Let's move over here. We get another W, man. And then see, this is the thing I want you guys to understand. What I'm showing here, this ain't hate speech. This ain't hate speech at all. This is all stuff that's public record, and this is all news. And if you guys out there in the algorithm get to portray my community as a certain way, but you never ever talk about yours, where you hear a lot of these black conservatives come on here and say, well, I don't care about the other communities. I'm only talking about ours. But who in the W community ever called their own people out for their crap? All they do is argue amongst each other. When do they ever hold the W community accountable for the things that they actually do? Nobody does. And if you're a black conservative, if you say anything against them, they get you out of there. They call you a traitor. They call you a primate. They say we knew that you didn't belong over here in the first place. They use you as a prop, and you know it. And you have, because you have no cultural integrity, you're willing to sell out your own community for pennies on a dollar. That's what you do. Because who holds them accountable? Man who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband gets life. Now, we know Nancy Pelosi, she was the Speaker of the House. This dude attacked her husband with a hammer. With a hammer. So the man who was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for attacking the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with a hammer in their California home was sentenced Tuesday to life in prison without the possibility of parole following a separate state trial. A San Francisco jury in June found David Pepe guilty of charges including aggravated kidnapping, first-degree burglary, and false imprisonment of an elder. Before the sentencing was issued, right? Let's see. Paul Pelosi was 82 at the time when he ran up in the crib with a hammer and start going to work with a hammer. Let me see. Hold on. It's my intention that Mr. DePepe would never get out of prison. He could never be paroled, Dorfman said while handing out the punishment. One of the defense attorneys, Adam Liston, asked Dorfman before the sentence was handed down to consider Desmond's mental health. With that mental health thing, of course he has mental health problems. So for a W man to attack another W man, he has to have mental health. Now, mind you, they say that we come from some of the worst conditions in America. Listen to how they play mind games on y'all, man. They don't work on me because I got the Most High with me. Listen to what I'm telling you. They depict the black communities of South Memphis, Philadelphia, Chicago, all these places as some of the most dilapidated and worst areas in America. But yet and still, when we commit crimes, we're sane. We knew what we were doing. We don't have mental health issues. We got the worst food, the worst education. This is all the stuff that they say about us. But whenever we commit a crime, we were sane when we did it. But whenever it comes to them, they got mental health issues. They're not in their right state of mind. See how they play with you? And if you just take the emotion out, black folk, take out the emotion. Stop being so emotional. They thrive off of you being emotional where they can play off your emotions and you're not thinking straight. And they get you. They get you. That's how they get us. So if you look at everything as a blank canvas, okay, we went through slavery, you called me the N-word, so what? Now what? Okay, so now you can see them when they come with their tactics. How can I come from the worst place with the worst education and worst food, and I'm not traumatized? I don't have some form of mental health problems. Huh? How? How can I not have PTSD if you telling me black on black crime is a thing? If black on black crime is a thing in these inner city ghettos, these concrete jungles, how can I not have PTSD? So now when I commit a crime, I'm not afforded that same right inside of the courtroom. These black conservatives are not affording me that same right. But when it comes to these people, they do. They make excuses. Think about it, right? Think about it. Hold on. Because we're going to get to, I'm going to share for a minute, and then I'm going to share again because I got to get to the last part. But let me stop sharing for a minute, right? Because I want y'all to see this. We're not afforded that same right. We're not. When those those MAGA dudes went to those black colleges, I seen black conservatives make excuses for them and say that those black kids were out of control and they were unruly. They were attacking those W guys. Well, prior to that, we saw a W man get unalived on camera before the world at a W college. We also saw HBCUs get death threats, unaliving threats, all on the news throughout the country. It went national. HBCUs was getting unaliving threats. We know that we saw the president have 2 assassination attempts. See, they play with you, but y'all not thinking. I need you to think. Stop being so emotional. Let all the emotion go. When you're dealing with these people, deal with them without the emotion, so that way you can make you can have the proper conversations. We just witnessed 2 assassination attempts on the president. And now you want to bleed your issues, your political violence over to our campuses where anything can happen at any given time. We're not comfortable. So now when you come on there and you want to talk about disparate impact, you want to talk about DEI to a bunch of young children with undeveloped brains, where they see all this trauma on TV, they're afraid. They want you out of there. They want you out of there. And I'm going to say this too, because I'm going to get on the Democrats for a minute. Let me push this up real quick. I'm going to say this too, because I'm going to get on the Democrats. Because ever since Trayvon Martin's death and Mike Brown, we go all the way back. It's 2025. I want y'all to listen to me close. Take all the emotion out. I haven't been live in a while, but I'm in bishop mode today, and I feel like I need to come out and teach. I know that I put up a lot of content around the celebrity stuff because that's how I get your attention. I went from 4,000 subscribers to almost 50,000 because I went into the junk where the people are. Like Christ walked with the backsliders. I went to the people that's asleep and put the message that I'm giving now in that message. And I got a bigger audience now, right? I had to use strategy, but I want y'all to listen and stay with me, right? Since the death of Mike Brown, and when they showed him laying on the ground in that blood, rolling, there's freaking flies flying around. They showed that blood streaming down the block, and they spun it every hour on CNN. What do you think that do to the psyche of a black woman when she see a black boy on the ground dead, especially in a community that's 85% single mom raised? Listen to me, because they're not going to give it to you this way. When you see a young black boy unalived on the ground with blood running down the street, and they run it on the news every hour, and a black woman is seeing this, what do you think that does to her psychologically when she's raising children? They're playing games on your mind. And then they show the police. So in the last 9 years, we raised up a generation of children who's been taught to deal with the police from an emotional perspective, arguing, fighting, arguing, chest to chest with the police, not being smart. When I was young and I got pulled over by the cops and I wasn't right, yes, officer, no, officer, my job was to do everything I needed to do to get myself out of the trouble or get myself out of the danger that I was in. You train a whole generation of kids under the Democratic Party to argue with them. I know my rights. I know this. I know that. Next thing you know, a routine car stop, you end up getting shot. See, when you're in the battle, when you're in a war, you have to think with your mind and think strategically. Back in the day, the cops would come pull us over, sit us on the curb, search the car, do all kinds of things illegally, totally violating our rights. We knew it. But in that moment when you're pulled over, is your word against his, and his word is law. Nobody believe in you. And you know how I know that's true? Because we used to say, wait till they get the cameras. They got the cameras and they still get away with it. So the Democratic Party, under all these police shootings of Tamir Rice, Corrin Gaines, and all these women and men that was unalive, Terrence Crutcher, holding his arms up, shot by Betty Shelby. We seeing all this stuff. It's doing things psychologically, and they're getting off. And you're training 2 generations of children to when you see the cops, now you argue and you go chest to chest, and I know my rights and I know this, right? You got 2020 riots in the streets, police with batons and shields, and we're going toe to toe with them. But I'm telling you, it's bad strategy. It's bad strategy. This is what the Democratic Party was doing to you, because they was playing you behind the scenes. So now you got, because they was on stage left. Now the Republicans is on stage left. And they want you to behave that way so they can keep sending in the National Guard to have martial law. So they all work together. They all work together, just different ways psychologically. They playing you. But when you're not emotionally tied, you don't see this stuff. They was playing us the whole time. Both parties was. Because under the Democratic Party, we saw all those police shootings and they was getting off like it was nothing. They was getting off like it was nothing. We witnessed this stuff. What was the plan of action? We got a whole bunch of black people today under the Democratic Party that don't want to do nothing but be loud and scream loud and push all this rhetoric that's not really conducive to fix the black community. So now when we form FBA and we come out and we say, we grassroots, we not rocking with none of that. We ain't with none of that shit. We ain't on nobody's side. You get attacked by the radical left. The radical go in your own house, go in your mama house, go to the barbecue and say you ain't supporting the Democratic Party and watch what happens to you. Watch what they start saying to you. I ain't even talking about the Republicans. We already know how they get down. But 77 people watching me. Go to family outing. When I go to my family house, well, it's a little different now because I've been talking this way for so long. My sisters are starting to understand what I've been saying. They starting to see the truth. But prior to years ago, I go to a family outing. I got to be quiet. I just sit there. I don't say anything. Because they believe whatever the Democrats tell them. Because that radical left is going to come out and get you. That radical left will get you fired from your job, take away your livelihood. It will wipe you out. You have to be in the middle to understand where you stand. Go to your family and say anything against the Democrats. Say anything against the Democrats and watch what happens to you. Watch what your family say. The woman you dating or the man you dating. Say anything against Kamala and watch what happens to you. That's how, and I'm talking to my foundational Black Americans. I ain't talking about no immigrants. I'm talking about within our own ranks. The difference between, because remember, FBA is a lineage. And in that lineage, you got many different ideas. And you have raccoons and sellouts that's part of our lineage too. I'm just saying, right? We got to tighten up. We got to tighten up and we got to start moving more cerebrally. We got to start moving with more intelligence, less emotion. We got to think politically. But what are the politics of foundational Black Americans and its different municipalities and cities and states that you live in? What are the politics? Right? Now, let me share my screen again because I want to get into this. I'm going to get off into this. Now, people were saying, talking about this woman, Mana Leo, or whatever, saying that she was taking Solon culture and was trying to colonize it and pan-Africanize it. She was trying to, not colonize, excuse me. She was trying to pan-Africanize it and share our culture with these other groups that don't give a damn about us, right? Now, let me say this before I start this. Let me give my position as a foundational Black American. Before, I've been online a long time. I have a lot of different channels. And I was doing this work. I was saying all the way back in 2017 that Pan-Africanism was dead and that we had to revamp. If we're going to keep Pan-African going, we have to redo it. It has to be redone for the modern times because I found out and I learned that Africans don't practice Pan-Africanism, right? Let me put this over here. I'm bigger. Until I found out and I learned that Africans don't practice Pan-Africanism. They practice pan-culturalism. They're about their group. Being in Philadelphia and being around a whole lot of Africans and having African friends, one of my real good friends, Alan, is from the Ivory Coast. And another one of my real good friends, Z, is from Mauritania. And I learned a lot from talking to them because I learned that one from Mauritania has a totally different thought process than one from Ivory Coast. My brother from Mauritania hate W people and Arabs because his people went through and still is in slavery over there in Mauritania. Understanding what Mauritania was to Africa at one point was like the center focus of Africa. Mauritania was, right? Where the kingdoms, especially West Africa, where the kingdoms were. People got to understand the history of Mauritania and what it was, this dark tension and all those different, the Ghana Empire and those different empires, right? Right? Having conversations with these two brothers that I love to death, they're my brothers, right? I learned that they practice pan-culturalism. Certain groups don't like the other group over there and over there. So now when we was taught that Africa was this great big utopia, right? At one point, I remember being young, we had the red, black, and green medallions. It's a black thing you wouldn't understand. We fighting in Free Mandela. We had Lakim Shabazz. We had Paris from the West Coast. We had what's his name? The 6'7" boy from the Bronx. Back in the day, light skinned boy, King Son. We had King Son. We had Poor Righteous Teacher. Everything was about Africa, right? Everything was about Africa. In my era growing up, right? And about knowledge of self, mind elevation, returning to the motherland. But what we didn't know was in the motherland, they wasn't that motherly towards each other. So while we practicing Pan-Africanism, fighting for groups to come to America, come on in, brother, come on, be a part of our group. Man, we love y'all, man, come on in. We found out, King Son, we found out that not all of them, because let me say this before I go further. Every immigrant ain't a tether. Every immigrant ain't against us. There's a lot of immigrants that's 10 toes down that agree with everything that I'm saying. In the last 25 years, the immigrants that's been getting their green cards coming to America are the sellouts that was oppressing, a lot of them that was oppressing their own people back home. And I was educated by this by a friend of mine from Zimbabwe. He said, George, these ones that come here, that act the way that they act, because they was the sellouts in their own country. They come from families with money. They come from families that was a part of the tribes that was oppressing the other groups. That's why they're allowed to come here. W supremacy learned from their mistakes about letting radical Africans into the country. So I started to educate myself on certain things. So for me, you don't really see videos my channel live when I'm just really going in on tethers like that, because I'm more focused on FBA business. I'm more focused on my program, Urban Nerds, and building FBA children and getting us together. I don't really, at my age, I'm half a century, bro. I don't have a time to be arguing with sellout tether immigrants. I'm not knocking up my other brothers that do it. Do y'all thing. That's just, I'm focused on other stuff, right? But I found out, some do, some don't, right? It depends, right? I'll give you an example. I believe that most don't complain about their sellouts. But where I'm at, the people that I'm around in my circle, right? My friend Alan, he does, right? All of them don't, but I'm around certain groups. See, Philadelphia is a little different. When you understand, every city, black city ain't the same based off of demographics and the history of the city. Philadelphia was the first place that when you ran to, you was free. So Philadelphia has a large influx of black people. It's even totally different from New York City. So in Philadelphia, you have a lot of immigrants, a lot of foundational black Americans, and we've always lived with each other. For the most part, in the city of Philadelphia, you couldn't even be black unless you integrated and ingratiated yourself into the foundational black American community. For the most part, you wasn't getting no shot, no love here. So when I was growing up, a lot of the arguments you see online, that didn't exist. Like, because my first girlfriend was from Ghana. I never knew she was from Ghana until I went to her house and met her parents, because they were so ingratiated into the FBA culture. In the last 20 years, you start seeing a shift of the sellouts coming in now. So here in Philly, you have an art like the Liberians. If you was from Liberia or Ghana and you was real well known, a lot of the ones that's grassroots that's been here a long time, they don't like the new ones that come in. When I was growing up, like I said, at my age, I grew up, I saw Burning Spear, Black Uhuru, and all that. I didn't see Jamaicans at that time in the 80s, early 90s. I didn't see Jamaicans with white women or Jamaican or these in the communities that we live. We lived in communities where W folks lived over there. The black folks lived over here. The only time you might see some interracial stuff is when you went downtown. But in the hoods, no, you didn't see that. This is a recent phenomenon. It wasn't going on where I was from. I can't speak for other places. But in one of the blackest cities in America, where I came from, where we lived in one of the racially segregated cities in America, it wasn't going down like that. Now you have a different thing. But when Burning Spear and the Naya Biggie drums and Black Uhuru and all that stuff was going on, and we was the repatriation back to Africa, there wasn't no W folks around. Is you crazy? That's why I talk the way I talk. That was unheard of. Not walking through no Southwest Philly. Yeah, okay. No, there's a new thing going on. So for me, I'm a little older. I have a little more education and wisdom towards certain things, but I'm not knocking my FBA brothers that's going after these tethers. Listen, go after them. Tear their asses up. Get them. I get it. Get them. Because don't get it twisted. I see the sellouts all day, and I'll be getting them too at times, but it's just not my main focus. But I want to play some of this, right? We got about 20 more minutes. I want to play some of this Mana Leo, right, and what she was saying.
And cops pull us over. They're not asking you, hey, are you Jamaican?
That's a fact.
Where you from?
That's a fact.
They're not asking that. You just black. So I wanted to detail these shared experiences across the diaspora. And I know it has upset a couple of people, which I can understand to a degree, because I feel like Black Americans, we want so badly to be represented and we want something of our own, because we feel like people have taken from our culture. And I understand that to a degree and still do. So I understand the frustration about incorporating the other flags, but I'm just here to detail what I was trying to depict, and that was Black unity and Black community. And I'm not trying to divide the diaspora. That will never be my intentions. Unfortunately, that's just not what I'm trying to do, because I feel like racism is a fundamental issue, and they've been conditioned to this certain type of teaching in a certain type of way, subconsciously. Here's the thing with white people, and it's not that I'm saying that all white people are bad. Right. You know, they be saying, I got a black best friend. My best friend is white.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. There you go.
just taking a page out of their book. So it's not that I'm saying white people are bad, but I think
She wasn't in the video.
She wouldn't been.
She was there
in the back.
She had to sit in the back.
See, and I want y'all to understand something. This is a young girl. She's 24 years old. I'm not gonna go in on her. She's young enough to be my child, right? And she's talking about unifying the diaspora. But she's saying, well, my best friend is a W girl, right? While at the same time trying to unify Black people together. And it's just, I'm not saying that you can't have W friends. I got W friends, people I'm cool with that I've worked out in the gym with for years, but they're not part of what I'm doing. No, right? We have to unite ourselves because I want you guys to understand something. When these other groups come to America, they fly their flags. They fly their flags and they fly their culture. And they come here and they say that we don't have no culture. We're not allowed to have a thought process of our own separate from them. They can come here and they can stick their hand in the window and extract this and extract that, right? And then throw their flags up in our face. But the minute we say, no, listen, we over here with it. We doing this. Oh, you being divisive. You being this. Well, when you flew your flag, that wasn't divisive. When you came here and you automatically separated yourself from us, that wasn't being divisive. She's young, coming from Texas, and in her defense, a lot of us have been trained to be all about Africa and the diaspora. So us separating, delineating, and separating is a new. This is new because we've been raised to be up under them and be around them and be a part of everything and share. Black Americans have been sharing our culture with other Black people forever. Case in point, Farrakhan is one of the most beloved people here in America, even leaders. He's not an FBA. But when you come here and you fight for Black people and you 10 toes down, we love you. We love you so much. Big Mama opened up her arms so much, you can even become a leader amongst us. See, FBA love, foundational Black Americans love Black people so much that when Stokely Carmichael came here and he said Black power, power to the people, we said, right on, brother. Get on the stage, man, and come rock with us, brother. That's how much we love Black people. We love Black people so much that when Schomburg and all these other Black people came, we said, yeah, brother, you can represent us. Come on, get on the stage and talk, brother. We love you, brother. When Marcus Garvey came, we said, sure, Marcus, let me move over. You got a seat, my brother. Come sit down next to us, man, because we love y'all. That's what we did. The history is on our side and shows it. When Ghana's first president in 1960 came and he wanted to study under us, we said, sure. You want HBCU? Go on over there to Lincoln, my brother. When Kwame Nkrumah came, sure. We love you, my brother. Go on over there and do your thing, brother. See, the history is on our side. When Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement was fighting to liberate Black people globally, we said, sure, they can come over. We want them over because we want to get our numbers up. And the more Black people we get from the Caribbean and Africa, we get our numbers up, we can fight against W supremacy. Sure, because we love Black people. We've always loved Black people. We love Black people so much that when we was creating hip hop all across America, and it was transitioning from Mr. Stubblefield and the drum beats and the disco and the R&B music. We had our Jamaican and our Caribbean, Bahamian brothers come. Man, that's our brothers. Come on in this party, man. We all together. You know, the Ricans peeking through the window, trying to come in. But, you know, they say, oh, I ain't with that jungle music. But the Black Americans, Jamaicans, Caribbean, we all together. Because we love Black people. We didn't say, oh, man, we separating, man. We ain't letting them Jamaicans in. We didn't say we ain't letting them Bahamians in. We said, come on in, Haitians. Y'all are our brothers. Sapa say, let's go. The history shows it. It proves it. Come on in and sit down. And this is my brother from Jamaica, man. That's my brother right there. That's what FBA Americans did. That's what we did. But at some point, it started to be a shift Well, now we Okadas, we Yankee boys. And let me tell you, let me tell you, my African brothers, sisters. You make the excuses that when we were young and we came here, you discriminated against us. You called us names. You called me African booty scratcher and tar baby and midnight and under the bed and in the closet with the door shut. You called me all those names. Well, let me tell you something. Do you know why Black Americans got the funniest comedians in the world? I'm going to say it again. Do you know why Black comedians are the funniest comedians in the world? Because during slavery and Jim Crow and all those different times, we had to find humor in the things that we were going through to make us feel better, to toughen us up. So we always crack jokes. African booty scratcher, tar baby, all those different names we called each other first. We were called those names and we called each other first. So when we were calling you names, we were just ingratiating you into the culture. All you had to do was bust back. We were showing you that we love you. When we call you names, that's just to see how tough you are, because we already knew that. Remember, we were trained young to be a part of Africa back in those days. So there's no way that we didn't love Africa. We were just being jokesters. We joked on everybody. The dark-skinned brother, the dark-skinned FBA got bust on too. No different than you did. But that's not the problem. You have crackatosis, acute white affinity syndrome. You want closeness to whiteness so much that you will hold on to those jokes that undeveloped brain children did when you came here, instead of seeing the whole thing in its totality of why you were in America in the first place and what France is doing to West Africa and has done to West Africa through policies. But yet and still you find ways to get at Black Americans. Think about it, my African brothers and sisters, my Caribbean brothers and sisters. Here on the East Coast corridor, show me where you're running for your life in Black communities. I'm gonna say this again. I'm a Umar Johnson. On the East Coast corridor, show me where you are running from your life in Black communities from FBA Americans. On the East Coast, up and down the East Coast corridor, show me where you are afraid and running for your life from FBA Americans. It don't exist, because we've always loved y'all. But y'all haven't loved us back in the last 20, 30 years. The love hasn't been the same. My grandparents' era was different. There was love amongst the groups. But y'all haven't loved us back. And now when we're calling this out and saying we want to separate, you act like we're saying something wrong. You're proving our points even more. You're proving our points even more. Because when I was a kid growing up and I was listening to Sizzler, I was listening to Buju, I was listening to Burning Spear, I was listening to Barrington Levy, I was listening to this stuff. I didn't see them with white women. They was going after the system. Buju was going after the system. It was all about the revolution. There you had Burning Spear. Here we had the last poets. Black Uhuru. We had Fight the Power and all that stuff. We was on it. Two most influential groups in the diaspora was Black Americans and Jamaicans. All around the world, they all copy our culture. From hip hop to reggae to all that stuff. Inspired. They all follow us. Yet and still, they got you coming here looking down on us. How? How? Brainwashing. Marcus Garvey was rejected in Jamaica, but he came here, and our grandmothers and grandfathers put our arms around him and brought him in and said, "You belong with us, brother." That's what we did. So you need to educate yourself on actual foundational Black American history and the actual love that we've had for all the Black groups around the world. And we found out that you guys wasn't practicing Pan-Africanism. You was being selfish and practicing pan-culturalism. We learned the hard way. If you guys want to donate to Urban Nerds, you can donate through the Cash App right there going across the screen. or you can go into the what's the name? You can donate through PayPal and what's the name? But if y'all want to donate, we got a bunch of people here. You guys can donate to the Urban Nerds over there. You guys, that's a disclaimer. But we loved everybody, right? But then you get this, right? Let's go down. Let me go down. We get here, right? Tariq Nasheed is reading off this. Yeah, no, I agree. Double reggae. Listen. Let me say this. I posted the video of the reggae of the elder Jamaican saying how Black American culture inspired reggae, right? But I would never ever disrespect Jamaicans and say that we created reggae, because we didn't. See, one thing about me, right? I believe in the Most High, and I believe in not being righteous, talking right, telling the truth. Black Americans helped inspire it, but we didn't create it. Reggae culture is very inspirational throughout the world. Nobody influenced the world like Black Americans and Jamaicans. Nobody. You go around the world, you're going to see our culture in everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. I don't hate Jamaicans. I love my people in the diaspora. I don't like a lot of these talking points that you say against us, but that don't mean I don't love you. I know that that's not everybody, right? But I need you guys to start checking your people and re-educate them, because you got people from Africa, from Nigeria that's talking like this. Let's get off into it.
This is her manager, and I think he made his page private. We start pulling up her manager's tweets. Her manager, dude named Uncle Toby, he's a Nigerian dude. So we start pulling up his tweets. And this dude, let me show y'all, because we talked about this the other day. This is her manager, and I think he made his page private. Her manager, Uncle Toby. Oh no, where we at? Okay, where we at? Hold on. There we go. All right, y'all bear with me for a second. So this is Uncle Toby's tweets. This is her Nigerian manager out there in Texas. So he got a whole bunch of tweets going back over a decade and a half. Back to Akadas. Let's not turn this into Igbo versus Yoruba. We're on the same team. It's the Akadas we don't like, remember? Oh boy, just everything was Akada. Akadas do things the hard way. So this dude just has so many tweets referring to us as Akadas. And also he had a bunch of tweets praising white women. Oh, I love me some white women. Oh, white girls this. Oh, I love white girls. It was very, very interesting. And hold on, there's some more. Let me pull up some more. Because he said a whole bunch of stuff. Hold on, let me show y'all some of the stuff this man was saying. This is Monaleo's manager. She's running around here talking about unity. So we start pulling up all the old tweets of this guy. I only let a white tattoo artist touch my skin with a needle. Is he white? I don't want no N-words to do my graphic stuff. This is how they talk about us. He's talking about the foundation that's like trash. And some more tweets. White girls do it right. Ooh, white girls, yes. Love eyes. White women, yes. I mean, good Lord. I need to get back on my white girls. Ooh, white girls. Damn, I need to get back on the white girls. I need my drugs. My girls like my drugs. White. I'd rather surround myself with white people and Africans. Look how far these tweets are going back, family. And then people wonder why we delineate from this. People wonder why we delineate from this. You understand? Talking crazy. Also, there's another artist on the label. He manages another artist. I think this artist is his cousin. The artist, hold on, let me pull up his tweets. He's a fellow Nigerian. All right. This artist, hold on, where is he? Is called Maxo Cream. All right. Let's show y'all this. This is Maxo Cream. All right. This is Maxo. Let's look at what Maxo said. Maxo sounds the same way. We pulled up his old tweets. I hope I never have kids with a bopping Akata bitch. I'll be disowned. F you dumbass black bitches. I'm going back to African women. Akata killer. Another tweet, Akata killer. He has a whole bunch of Akata killer tweets. Got to be my African side that keeps me going to school. My Akata side be saying F this shit. Akata females are so L. On some Akata shit, African.
I'm gonna pause it there because it's a lot of cussing, and I want to make sure that we keep it monetized. But I wanted you guys to see. What what they were talking about. But let's go to this part here also, because I want you guys to see how the way of thinking a lot of our young people are, and why we got to get to the minds of our young people, because the way that they think is screwed up.
Because not only was he propping up our people, but
Hold on.
My whole thing with this.
Fred Hampton was public enemy number one. Because not only was he propping up our people, but he was letting other people know through class solidarity, we all in the same boat for real.
Exactly.
Y'all nigga letting these folk divide us.
Yeah.
You doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is
I feel like people only respect what has been developed over time.
Okay, well, we got music.
So anything that's even like the term salon, because it's a fairly new term, they feel like this was just recently coined, just recently developed. Why should we respect it?
Because MAGA is a fairly new thing too.
See, the problem with her is she's been trained, and like a lot of us are, to share our culture with everybody else. As Black Americans, as FBA, a lot of our people, we don't know how to delineate and keep everything within ourselves, within our culture. We've been used to giving it all away. While other groups to come in and they'll gatekeep theirs. We haven't had a culture for a long. We haven't had a culture that gate kept our stuff. We've always shared it with every other group. So she's a young girl coming up in a house where she's probably been taught to share. So she's getting pushback from now the grassroots FBA saying, yo, stop trying to Pan-Africanize our stuff. We're not doing that. But the reason why I'm not mad at her, because prior to us teaching this, we was teaching our children to do this. We was teaching our children to share with Africans, Caribbeans. And so now they're coming out. That's what a lot of them are doing. So what she's doing is she's holding up a mirror to us to say we got to do more work. We got to get about being, if we sick and tired of being sick and tired, we got to be about being about it. Because what she's doing is holding the mirror up saying we haven't done a good enough job, right, getting our message out to the young people. We got to even work harder. We got to get it out there because we're not used to gatekeeping our culture. Now, we have brothers and sisters online today that's teaching it. I'm 10 toes down with them. I'm right with them. Gatekeep it. But the masses of our people don't know what we're talking about. I'll be outside, bro. I'll be outside. I'm in the gyms. I'm sitting in the house with my families. Man, they ain't on what we talking about. We got to get them on board, bro. We got to get them on board.
And you niggas around here wearing red hats and all type of dumb.
So it's like what it is that we're trying to do to promote.
Also, too, like black people have to be
excellence.
above the criticism of white people. We already know y'all gonna criticize them.
I felt that.
I don't give a
I didn't give a damn how white people felt.
Right.
Candidly.
It
was my own.
It be me too though.
It was
like
my
when my
community
folks
that I
be, I be
felt.
like, damn, I'm doing this.
That was the only
But get
thing that
what?
made me feel
We
like
gonna-
I needed to learn.
We're gonna have to get through their fears too though. They scared to be black in public. They like being black online. You being a little too niggered out. It's too loud.
Yeah.
Because that is what got us continue to perpetuate these same systems that are
Hold on. Let me deal with something real quick. Let me highlight this. And this is what I'm talking about, the ignorance. Let me highlight this. And let me approach this. I want y'all to read this. I want you guys to read this. Everybody to read this. I'm glad it's only a few people because millions are not involved in who's FBA and who's African and senseless. Now, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why you making that comment is selfish, it's disrespectful, and it's unfair. I don't know if you FBA. Most likely, you probably not. But when you come into Pan-African culture as a Black American, you have to throw away your Black American culture. The Yoruba, the Hausa, the Fulani, the Akan, the Ashanti, all these other groups, right? All these other groups, they don't have to throw away their culture. They don't have to throw away their flags. They can keep theirs. They can keep their foolishness. They can keep their positivity. They can keep all that. But for us to ingratiate ourselves in the Pan-African culture, we got to erase our stuff because you guys come and tell us we don't have a culture. Our culture is African culture. We don't have anything. You don't respect anything about us. You can come and throw your flags in our face. You come and do all this, right? So this is where I'm saying you guys are selfish and you get pushback from a lot of FBA brothers and sisters because you're not even respectful enough of the Black Americans to even try to understand why we're saying in the first place. You make stupid comments like this and it's disrespectful. Because nobody ever told you to stop being Wolof. Nobody ever told you to stop being Akan. Nobody ever told you to stop being Hausa. Nobody ever told you to stop being Ga and all those other different tribal names that you people have. Nobody ever told you to stop being that. Nobody told you to abandon your foods. Nobody told you that you don't have culture. See, but this is what I'm saying. I don't know if you are or not. If you're not, if you wasn't born here in America where your ancestors were part of the foundation of America, if you came from the Caribbean or you came from Africa somewhere where your parents came there, then you're not FBA. That doesn't mean that I hate you. It don't even mean that you're my enemy. I love you. But I love you enough to tell the truth. We have different places that we come from where we have different shared cultures, different shared experiences. And we should be able to share those different cultures and experience. Watch this double edge. If you actually double edge logic, if you actually respectful. We have, if you come from Ghana, right? And you go down to Mozambique, they speak a different language. They have different cultures and customs. But through Pan-Africanism, they should be able to share those different cultures and customs. Even though they know they have different experiences, they still work together under the guise of Pan-Africanism as brothers while still having a separate culture from each other. Because they have different plights and grievances based off of where they've been. We know this. This is fact. So if you come to America and you flying your flags and you're saying, I'm not part of that group, I'm this, but you only want to be a part of the group to benefit from what we fought for here, then you are tethered. That's like me going to your country and doing the same thing. Why would I do that? You are tethered. If you don't come and ingratiate yourself into the culture of the people that you're benefiting from, then you are tethering. Who in my chat calling people YNs? Y'all better not be over here calling the kids YNs. No, there's a way. Again, I'm gonna ask you one question. I'm just gonna ask you one question respectfully. If you don't respect me enough to tell me or not, I'm gonna get you out of here. If you answer it, you can stay all day. We can talk. Are you from Africa, the Caribbean, or are you your parents and everybody born here in America? Are you foundational Black Americans? And I'm not saying that we're not arguing. I'm asking you a question. Are you FBA? Are you from the Caribbean? If you're from the Caribbean and Africa, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not even mad at you for that. I don't FBA bang. But I'm asking you a question. Are you FBA? Because we have different shared cultures. Listen, I love my curry goat and my oxtails and my Jamaican family. Goddamn right, I love my Jamaican family. But I know that when we talk reparations, we have different arguments, right? That we bring to governments and to the table. We should learn from each other's fight and push the envelope, right? We have different arguments. That don't make him my enemy. But when you come in, you start calling me a Yankee boy and calling me lazy and looking down, then yeah. That's the problem. So we have cultural differences that exist. And cultural differences is not a bad thing. If I go to synagogue, I want to learn the culture. I want to see what they're doing in synagogue. All right, bro, I'm gonna let you out of here because you're not even like, all right, let me get you out of here. I just asked you a simple question, man. I'm not like the other people, man, when they do the lives and they want to, I don't do all that, man. Somebody time Double Logic out, man, for like 40 minutes or something. Get him out of here. I don't got time for that. I'm a grown man, bro. If you want to comment in my comment section, have a conversation, respect me enough to say, hey, Brother George, I'm from here, man. And then we can talk. If you can't respect me enough, then there's no sense of you being here, my brother. I don't get into all that. I deal in respect, man. I deal in respect. And I don't deal with trolls. It's either respect. You don't see me on nowhere disrespecting nobody, trolling people, making videos, trolling people. I don't do none of that. I'm a grown man. We can have conversation. You can come up and say, Brother George, I disagree with you, and this is why. And we can have a conversation. But I'm telling you, when you come as a Jamaican or a Haitian, listen, I love Haitians. Haitians are some of my favorite people on the planet. I love Haitians. I love the Haitian story. I love Haitians. But I'm an FBA. And I have a different story here in America from my Haitian brothers on the shores of Haiti, right? But we still brothers in arms. We come together, we share our culture, right? When we have it, if it's really Pan-Africanism, we come together, we say, well, damn, man, you guys got 1804, we got the freedom, and it helped everybody. We got Juneteenth, we got our Stoner rebellions, we got the German Coast rebellions, we got all our down in the German Coast rebellion. One of the guys that led it was a Haitian. We unify under our agreements, and we fly our flags together as brothers, right? We don't come talking down on each other, running over there to get you a white woman or a white man, and talking down on our reparations, knowing that our grandparents and parents have sometimes fought with each other, fought together for our benefit. When you come on here and you talking like that, you ain't my brother, man. So if you double eagle eye and I ask you a simple question, why you just can't answer the question? Because you here to troll. I don't do all that. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't do that. We have conversations. And I don't do, like I said, I don't do gender banging over here. When you FBA, you gender banging, you supporting W supremacy. And I don't do FBA banging. I just stay on FBA business. If you are a Caribbean or African brother and you 10 toes down, then you my brother. I love you. Let's walk together. If you support those W supremacist talking points and you believe that we ain't built nothing and we don't have no culture, then you ain't my brother. Don't come up. Just don't come over here. That's all. I will never say nothing about you. I never say nothing bad about you. Just don't come over here. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm an FBA. I think Pan-Africanism is dead, but the concept of what Pan-African could be in its purest form, I love it. Unify Black people all over the world. I wish we could have it. I wish that we could have it. But under the system that we got now, there's no way we can have it. Because it's too many people brainwashed. It's too many people brainwashed. And as a foundational Black American, who come from people like Mary Bethune-McLeod, who come from people like Fannie Lou Hamer, right? Who come from the strong Black people of the days of old, your grandparents, my grandparents, people that fought on the soil for us to have the things we have. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna ever allow y'all to crap on that and say that we don't have a culture. Our culture is our resiliency. Our culture, for those of you that say that we don't have a culture, our culture is the reason why you in America. Because Brother Sanchez in here? Hey, Sanchez, watch this, Sanchez. When you say that we don't have a culture, our culture is the reason why your great-grandparents looked over the hill and saw successful black people and said, I want to go over there and be like them. You don't come to America today as an African or a Caribbean to just make the best of yourself. You come here to America because there was black people that was here before you that paved the way, that plowed the road, that got hung from trees, that women was getting raped, Reese Teller and them. Women was getting things bad done to them. Children fed to alligators. We getting our grandparents getting hit in the head with rocks. Some of us watching now got great grandfathers that was hung from poles and trees. All those things that we did to plow the road for you to come here to be a doctor, because your people wasn't here first. Our people, my brother Sanchez's grandfather was down there in Alabama experiencing all kinds of things for them W folks, so that you can come here and become a dentist, become a doctor. So don't you ever in your life come here and say that we don't have a culture. Our culture. All cultures are not created the same. Your culture over there in West Africa, you can say, well, our food, our traditions. Our culture was based off of creating a life for us based off the environment that was provided for us. Our culture was based off of our resilience to survive based off the tyranny that we were going through, that we can see now that influenced the world. Our culture is what you see and emulate today and want to be like, despite you having your own culture. That's our culture. So when you come here and say that we don't have a culture, say that we are lazy, we come from a people. That's the reason why you can come here and even screw a white woman. That's FBA culture. FBA culture is the reason that you can come here and have that W wife that you have. Our resiliency and our drive to live. Those of us whose families come from the South, that had to endure all these things way before you got here to the shores of North America. It's our culture that you say that we don't have is the reason why you here now and could be a sellout. So when you don't want to put respect on FBA name, this is why you get the pushback, my brothers and sisters from the Caribbean and Africa. This is why you get the pushback, because you're politically ignorant. You don't understand the things that you need to understand. So how can we have any form of Pan-Africanism when you don't even know what Pan-Africanism is? Nobody practiced Pan-Africanism like Black Americans. Nobody. We was the ones. I keep telling you. When we were saying power to the people, Stokely Carmichael wasn't FBA, but Big Mama said, come on, baby, you hungry? Come on over here and sit down, man. Get this brother some food, man, and get his brother a microphone and let him speak. That was FBA culture. I told you, Farrakhan is who he is because of FBA culture. Comedians like Michael Blackson and all of them are who they are because of FBA culture. That's us. That's us opening our arms up and saying, we love you. But y'all pushing us away, saying, I'm not like those Akatas. I'm not like those groups. You come here and you send your children to school and you find out she getting her cheeks voiced by a Black American boy, and she can't even bring you to the house because her father ain't gonna like you because you're a Black American. Yeah. You think I'm stupid? You think I don't know that? You think I don't know you Nigerian men despise a lot of Black American men? You don't want them nowhere around your daughters and your children? You don't want us marrying them? You think I don't know that? The sad part is, in FBA culture, we ain't had no problem if my sister brought home a Nigerian man because he was Black. We didn't know. For a long time, we didn't know that y'all despised us like that. That's why we so hurt and so shocked and so angry. Because we felt like we was putting love on a group of people that wasn't loving us back. She couldn't bring you home. But guess what? All my FBA family in the chat, tell me 15 years ago, if your sister brought home a Nigerian or a Ghanaian or a Senegalese or Angolan or Mozambique, a Zimbabwean, a South African, if she brought him to the barbecue, would it have been okay? No, everybody have been loving on him. He'd got a plate, we'd have been dancing with him, we'd have been loving on him. But when she brings you home, they get to whispering. Oh, yeah. I got African friends that love me, that tell me the truth, that keep it 10 toes, that's honest. Right, Sanchez? We practice African culture more than y'all. Nobody was loving more than Big Mama. Big Mama loved everybody. Let me tell you something about FBA culture. FBA culture, Big Mama was so strong that we got family members that's not our real family. Grandma and Miss Earlene was best friends, and they merged together, and all the children under them became cousins. And all your family reunions, you with them, and you always believed that they was your cousins, but the Johnson family is your cousin. You see them sometime, but you see the Earlys more than the Johnson family, because Miss Louise was grandma's best friend. You have integrated families because of Big Mamas. We all merged our families together. When if your Big Mama died when you was young, my grandma took you in and raised you as her son, and you was her baby. We brought people home, and they was your family. That's FBA culture. That's why when you came here to America, we just brought you in. And when we seen you not practicing the culture of being black, we was confused. We're like, wait a minute, you're not over here. Why are you over there with them people? You supposed to be with us. You black. We didn't know that you didn't practice Pan-Africanism. We saw you practicing pan-culturalism. Big Mama brought everybody in. Big Mama loved on everybody. Hey, watch this. Hey, Sanchez, back in the day when you was a kid, when you was a child, when you brought your friends home, didn't Grandma feed everybody? Big Mama fed everybody. Big Mama loved on everybody, because that's all we knew. That's the culture we come from. That's FBA culture. Big Mama didn't say, get them Africans out my house. That wasn't even that. You weren't even allowed to cuss in Big Mama house. And because Big Mama took care of everybody, we was trained and taught to take care of everybody. That's part of Black American culture. And I'm telling you guys, this is why you're getting so much pushback from FBAs, because we're confused as to how we've been taught to practice Pan-Africanism all this time and love y'all, and we don't understand why y'all don't love us. So now what you getting is rage. What you getting is pushback. Okay, you don't love us while we loved you. Let me show you how divisive we can be. Because while you was being divisive, we was trying to love you. And there you go. There you go. There you go. It was order. Big Mama. Big Mama say go. All the things that we invented. And see, me saying this, let me unshare because we're about to get out of here. Me saying this doesn't mean that I hate immigrants. No, I love it. Listen to me. One of my real good friends is from the Ivory Coast. We talk every day. Y'all see me do so many live streams with Richie, my brother Richie from the UK. That's one of my real good friends, tight friends. I have a lot of friends international, a lot of friends. They know how I speak and how I talk. I don't hang with people that don't think like me. That's not on a. Now I have people that disagree with me. Let me rephrase that, because I have brothers that disagree with me, right? But we agree on the fundamental things from everywhere. But I ain't got no brothers that's immigrants or sisters immigrants that don't respect FBA culture. You can't be my brother if you don't respect my culture. You don't respect my people. You don't respect where I come from. We can't be brothers. So I know we got some rogue brothers online that's just talk trash, that just call every immigrant a tether. And I know that, but that's just the internet, because I know that every immigrant ain't a tether, right? But all a tether is a sellout. He sell out his own people. It's no different than a foundational Black American sellout. We got FBA sellouts. We got them all amongst our own group. The only difference between us and y'all is we call our sellouts out. We hold our sellouts accountable. We hold our sellouts accountable. We separate ourselves. We say, yo, we ain't with them dudes. We ain't with them women. All them fake ass pink pill and gender women that hate black men, and those black men that hate black women, and those radical black conservatives, we ain't rocking with none of them. They not on our team. We try to bring some of them back home, but until they change from their wicked ways, they're not part of us. They are part of the lineage. They definitely FBA, but we're not rocking with them. We call them out. We call them out. We hold them accountable. That's all, man. We don't all listen. It's some FBAs that watch this that disagree with some of the things I say, but I guarantee you, the foundation of what I'm saying they agree with. We ain't gonna always agree on everything. That's fine. But the foundation of it, my culture that you say that we don't have, is the reason why you in America today. That's what I need you to understand. Somebody said, now I'm Big Mama, and I tell, hold on. Now I'm Big Mama, and I tell my kids and grandsons, they better not bring an immigrant home to my family. This is the new mom. And see, you know what's funny? And it's sad that it's gotten that way, because we know that when we was growing up, if you brought an immigrant home, nobody cared. I told you my first girlfriend was from Ghana. She was an immigrant. I didn't know that she was an immigrant because they were so ingratiated into the culture. You didn't even know. I just thought she was a dark-skinned FBA. I didn't even know. But that was 30-something years ago in Philadelphia. Those days changed. They come here now and completely separate themselves now, as if like they're not practicing Pan-Africanism. And that's where the argument happens. That's where the argument happens, man. Right. Nobody agrees with everything. Right? Yeah, and that's where these are the places that we got to get to as FBI. I say this, I got in 10 minutes I'm out of here. I'm a half hour over what I was supposed to stay. But I just say this. I'll just say, like, if you guys want to donate again, you can donate to Urban Nerds through the Cash App, or you can go into the description box and you go to the website. And you can donate through the website, through our PayPal or Venmo. We got to get more on FBA business, right? More FBA business, and start talking about things we need to do politics-wise in the communities that we live in. We got to start talking about home ownership and economics. And now with all the stuff going on with these, the Ghanaians lost their accent. I want you to, yeah. Well, you know why they did, Monique? Because they speak English. So a lot of the Ghanaian girls, when we were growing up, was fine as hell in school and thick and chocolate and thick in school. So a lot of guys was going after the Ghanaian girls, but they spoke English. So a lot of times you didn't even know until you went to their house and you heard their moms talk, like when we were in high school years ago. So it's a different time, but you can't compare 2025 world to a world in 1992, 1993. It's a different world growing up back in the day. Totally different world than the world that we see today. It's not the same. Nowhere near the same. There was no cell phones and computers, and it's a different world, different time, different things being pushed. Right. Right. We'll see. Yeah, I don't hate Jamaicans, Haitians, Africans, Latinos, but they're not eligible for reparations. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have different arguments based off the soil that we come from. All Pan-African was supposed to bring us together, despite our cultural differences. It was supposed to bring us together under the shared understanding of what Blackness is. That's all. We're supposed to still have our different cultures. We're just supposed to be unified under Blackness. You guys want a close acceptance to the W society and start separating yourself from us and wasn't practicing it. We found out, us as FBAs, we found out we was the only ones practicing Pan-Africanism. Latinos wanted to be close to the W folks. Hey, how the Haitians, I don't know, man. It's just, it started getting crazy. Seems like back then, Africans represented Blacks proudly. Versus now they're on the magazine. Yes. When I was growing up, the Africans, like I told you, man, we had all kinds of African girlfriends, Liberia and Ghana and Philadelphia. Because I told you, Philly. Let me just say this: Philadelphia was the first Black Renaissance before you had the Harlem Renaissance. Where I come from, Philadelphia was the place where people ran to be free, and so Philadelphia was flooded with Blacks all throughout the 1800s. Philadelphia was the place in 1790 when Haitians started to leave Haiti. They came right to Philadelphia. Thousands of Haitians flooded into Philadelphia from 1790 all the way up through 1804. You start having, so we got to study this history. Haitians flooding through, right? So Philadelphia has a large influx of different immigrants and FBAs, but and they was all mixed into FBA culture where you couldn't tell the difference, right? So a lot of our girlfriends was Haitians, Jamaicans. When you went to their house, but they spoke like you didn't know till you went to their house or the barbecue. You said, "You Haitian? Oh, you ain't know I was Haitian." No, that's Philadelphia culture, because it's been that way since slavery and the ending of slavery, because of what Philadelphia represented during the Renaissance and all those different times, right? Other cities is different. Other cities is different. So for me, when I came online and I started seeing all this banging, it was foreign to me. I'm like, yo, why they banging like that? I didn't understand other cities. I live in the culture that I came from. But I started seeing my FBA brothers and sisters calling out different groups. I had to listen to them. Oh, okay, this is what's happening. Okay, this is what's happening in Memphis. This is what's happening in Arkansas. This is what's happening down there. This is what's happening. Got you. So I had to, I had to learn what was going on. Let me see what my brother said. Okay. And then my sister said, yep. Thank you. Please support. You guys can donate, like I said, through the Cash App or the website. You can go on the website and donate through there for things that we got going on. Yep, you didn't know people because they rep. Thank you, Sanchez. They rep Black over their homeland back then. You was just Black. So my first girlfriend and all that kind of stuff, she was just Black. We wasn't talking, having these arguments, and we was fighting for Blackness. That's what Pan-African was supposed to be for. And then we understand, we shared our cultures. Man, please. Yeah. What's going on, FBA Convo? Peace to you, my brother. So we got to understand that, so I'm going to end it here. We got to understand that, in Jamaica and through CARICOM, they have their reparations claim. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Here in America, we have our own reparations claim. Yeah, Sabir Bey, that's my brother, man. That's my brother. Sabir Bey, we have different ideologies or thought processes, but one thing about my brother Sabir Bey, while I respect Sabir, way before I was conscious, when I was still in the street on the block with the hot lot, I was riding around in fancy cars and messing around with all kinds of wild, wicked chicks and just wilding out. I knew him. And I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first to tell you about Sabir Bey, whether you like Sabir Bey or not. Sabir Bey was the same Sabir Bey back then as he is now. Sabir Bey was coming into the gym and all the places with the fez on, talking all kinds of more stuff back then. I was like, man, I used to be like, man, I don't know what this nigga talking about. Way back in the 90s, Sabir Bey was talking the way he talking now. That's why I respect that brother, because whether you agree with him or not, he ain't never wavered. He is on what he teach. He ain't switched up. He ain't went from here to this, to the church, to the Muslim, to the Israel. He ain't did none of that. He been on the same thing he been on for a long time. Me knowing him. Yeah, that's okay. But I'm saying this because I know him. He's from my city. Way 25 years ago, what he talking about now, he was talking about back then. Before I was even on the internet, before I even had a computer in the house, he was on there talking about this stuff. Right? So that's why I respect Sabir Bey. Because he's about what he's talking about. I need FBA family to be like a Sabir Bey. 20 years from now, I need you to still be on what you on. I need you to be on this FBA business. I need you to be about this life. Because FBA is not just a lineage, it's a lifestyle. It's the way that we treat each other, the way we engage. It's the way that we teach our history. It's the way that we explain our story. So that way you teach people how to treat you. You teach people how they should ingratiate themselves into FBA culture. right? It's up to us. So we're not respecting each other within FBA culture. How can we expect each other groups to respect us? It starts with us. So when I say death to the real N-word, when I promote this here, watch this. Watch this. When I promote this, where is that? Let me pull this up before we skedaddle. Where I got it at? Did I go past it? Hold on. Let me find it real quick. Darn it. Where is that? I just had it pulled up and I took it down. Now I'm moving too fast. I can't find it. I want y'all to see this before we go. Oh, here it go, right here. Let me see if allow me to share it. Real quick. So again, while you calling your kids YNs, I've been online saying nerds over niggas. We ain't promoting none of that. We got urban nerds, not urban shooters. We don't want urban shooters. We want to get our FBA kids together and stop calling young black boys YNs. So I recap. Stop calling young black boys YNs. I'm only talking to my foundational Black American family right now. Because again, I told you, foundational Black American is a lineage, and not everybody in foundational Black American culture is woke, right? Stop calling your kids YNs, because these other groups already got a preconceived notion about us. And you're adding flame to the fire when you calling your kids. So when I did my series, Death to the Real N-Word, I wasn't talking about killing nobody. I was talking about killing that nigga in your mind. So we say nerds over niggas, urban nerds, not urban shooters. Because I believe that if you teach the kids and you change the way that they speak, you change the way that they see themselves. If you change the way that they see themselves, you can change their outcomes. And we got to get on FBA business. And getting on FBA business is teaching. So remember, I love my people more than they hate themselves. And I pray to the universal creator most high that these words were enough to inspire you. These words are enough to make you look at your children and make change. These words are enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I hope that when you came here for information. And when you leave here greater than what you was before you came. You leave here edified. I hope that you share this information on all the social media mechanisms that we use to get the message across. At the water cooler, on the job, pillow talking with your woman, walking down the street with the homies, smoking the L, watching the game. It's time that we start having an FBA conversation and re-educating our people on who we are and what we need to do, strategizing, being more cerebral in our approach and the way we approach things, not being less emotional, not being so traumatized. It's time that we change our approach and we wake up, because it's our turn. It's our day. Our day is coming. It's our time to shine. You can't keep calling your kids YNs. That ain't the way. Do not give these black conservatives and these racist groups ammunition to say, see that? They don't even love their own offsprings. We got every right to do to them what we do to them. Because look at the way they talk to themselves. Look at how they treat themselves. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. Ain't nobody coming to save us but us. We are our own saviors. So want for your brother what you want for yourself. Want for your sister what you want for yourself. It's okay to tell your brother that you love him. It's okay to love on your brother and love on your sister. It's okay to be there for each other. It's okay to forgive each other, despite what the world has told us. It's okay for us to let the trauma go and begin to raise ourselves up and be new people. And finally understand what Black power is. Finally get to a place where we can live and experience Black power. When we put that fist up, it now has action and meaning to it. And we can teach young boys and Black girls to actually experience it. They can know what it is instead of just being a talking point. And it starts now. When we say we FBA, we're grassroots foundational Black Americans, that means that we have acknowledged that there is a problem. And now it's incumbent upon us to solve those problems. We have a responsibility, and we don't have nobody else to blame anymore but ourselves if we don't solve these problems. Because remember, family, nobody's coming to save us. Peace.